At this time, we will proceed with the Clerk and Recorder's Office request and presentation by Clerk and Recorder Steve Schleicher.
Good morning, Commissioners. Blake, thank you so much. So I am here today to talk a little bit about the Clerk and Recorder's Office and our 2025 critical needs. So just to share with you, the vision of your clerk's office is to be the trusted source of information and business transaction in all things elections, motor vehicle, recording, and clerk to the Board of County Commissioners. The public is confident in the clerk's office through innovative processes, renowned expertise, and a fully engaged workforce. The mission of the Clerks and Recorder's Office is to provide services in accordance with Colorado Constitution, our statutes, and legal requirements. So everything that we do is bound by statute in the clerk's offices. So services are delivered in a timely, cost-efficient, accurate, professional, and secure manner with respect and courtesy to the public. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some strategic plan goals for 2025, looking at election integrity and security, improved voter access and engagement, digital transformation and accessibility compliance, motor vehicle department efficiency, staff development and retention, customer experience improvements, and sustainability and operational efficiency. So some of the things that my team and I are going to be looking at in 2025. First, election integrity and security is built upon the election security measures we've been developing since 2023. This includes continuing collaborations with emergency management and expanding training for our staff and also security protocols. Number two, looking forward to 2025, improved voter access and engagement is expand voter education efforts, ensure additional ballot drop boxes and vote centers are optimized based on our 2024 general election experiences. So once we wrap up our November 2024 election, we're going to sit down and go over the good, the bad, and how we could be better. Number three, digital transformation and accessibility compliance is continuing efforts to ensure ADA compliance with digital platforms like Common Look, refining processes for ballot accessibility and statutory requirements, improve or replace existing software to meet accessibility laws more effectively. Going into motor vehicle department efficiency is definitely looking at exploring options to streamline operations, further reduce wait times, and mitigate staff burnout. I'm going to be researching at implementing a 10-hour schedule across departments while maintaining superior service levels. It is a very difficult thing to consider with the Department of Motor Vehicles. You know, if you do it for one department, another department's going to want to do it, but it's something that we're going to research and, you know, talk to my staff about. Addressing bottlenecks in transactions such as personalized plates to enhance customer service experience. So when somebody comes into the DMV and looks for personalized plates, that takes some time, but our greeters are actually probing and asking those questions before they are issued a number through the queue flow process. Staff development and retention, I'm all about education. It's continue to provide development, paths, and training for staff like motor vehicle greeters, my operations coordinators, and looking to move up, focusing on retention and engagement strategies, and incentivize high performances with bonuses or flexible schedules, acknowledging their contributions to the critical operations. Number six, customer experience improvements, expand upon lobby improvements by adding more TV screens, integrating additional communication tools, and I will talk a little bit about that, like average wait time updates, review feedback mechanisms, and find more ways to close the gap between customer expectations and experiences. Then lastly, sustainability and operational efficiency. Examine ways to make my offices more energy efficient. Several of them now during the summer times is the doors are really left open because we are overflowing in our lobbies and we have customers that are sitting on the curbs, or they're sitting in the lobby in the waiting areas, or standing, leaving the doors open where the AC is constantly on at the same time. So I think we can sit there and do a better job there. And possibly look at integrate remote work solutions for several of my departments. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the elections department. As we know, the elections department administers all the elections here in El Paso County except for the city of Colorado Springs. So as of September 23rd, total registered voters is just shy of 583,000. So that is including our active and inactive voters. 479,175, and as you saw in this morning's presentation, an update of as far as this election, we are just 10,000 more of that in basically matter of several weeks. New registrations processed as of September 23rd, gone up 4%. I'm anticipating another 4% going up as we lead to election day. So here are the ballots processed. For the UOCAVA ballots, we did 5,100 overseas military member ballots. The June 25th, we did 5,294. November 5th is 6,492, and we are processing between 10 and 20 a day for our UOCAVA uniformed military members that are participating. So this number is already archaic because we're sitting there helping them fill out their FCPA, where their ballot is emailed to them and they're able to sit there and vote. Ballots processed, so for the 3 elections here in 2024, right now is just shy of 1.4 million ballots that have been processed, which is the most in the state of Colorado. Elections operating indicators is when we're sitting here talking about the processing of the ballots, I broke it down by each election, and you could definitely see that November, we're gonna see a significant turnout, as I shared this morning, and looking at, as far as processing, just shy of 800,000 ballots. Here are the operating indicators of number of voters inactivated, canceled, Republican, Democrat, and unaffiliated. So we all know that the Clerk and Recorder's Office successfully passed all pre-election testing, post-election audits, and all canvassing processes for our March 5th presidential primary election, our June 25th state primary election, and we also passed the logic and accuracy test by 100% for the 2024 November election, as I mentioned today. These comprehensive procedures ensures the accuracy, security, and integrity of each one of our elections, demonstrating our continued commitment to upholding the highest standards in the democratic process. And please note that it's not my staff that are doing these audits or these tests. It is our neighbors, our family members, and our friends that are stepping up. And they are bipartisan, either as Republicans, Democrats, unaffiliated, or some of our minor parties. So one thing I also want to share with you, talk to you a little bit about motor vehicle driver's license operations. We are only one of a handful of counties that offers driver's license, basically renewals here in El Paso County. Most counties don't deal with driver's licenses where their customers have to go to the Department of Revenue, and they basically have to make an appointment and they wait for a month or 2 months to get into the Department of Revenue. That's something that our customers here do not have to worry about. So motor vehicle services, we do vehicle registration and renewal, title transfers, license plates, temporary permits, office consolidation efforts, just a number of different things, and driver's license renewal and issuance and compliance with state regulations. I will show you is my office is outpacing the state in driver's license renewals by over 35 to 50% each and every month. Here are the transactions that are being processed. So as of October 7th, vehicle registrations, driver's license, title, and renewals processed just shy of 379,000. 79.7 transactions are completed in person. 20.3% transactions are completed online or at the kiosks. And the reason for that is what makes El Paso County extremely unique is we are the only county in the entire nation where we have 5 major military installations. Part of that is our military, they are basically exempt from paying ownership tax. Unfortunately, our military members, our kiosks, do not exempt the ownership tax if they want to go ahead and renew at a kiosk. So unfortunately, they have to either come into the office or come see my motor vehicle manager or myself. That way they are exempt from that ownership tax. Daily, weekly average of transactions per office. And as you can see here, the percentage of business, my 2 biggest hitters is Powers and Union Town Center. They are averaging between 33 to 32% each office. Citizen Service Center is doing 25%, Fort Carson 10%. My Union Town Center branch is averaging over 502 transactions per day. That's just the number of folks that are just walking in there. That's just shy of 2,500 transactions per week. Powers branch is 509 transactions per day, 2,547 transactions per week. Citizen Service Center is 387 transactions per day and 1,933 transactions per week. Fort Carson is 169 transactions per day and 844 transactions per week. Wait times, I could not be more proud of the staff in motor vehicle and driver's licenses. I gave them the goal of getting to 75% or greater in our wait times. And as you will see here, our UTC, which is one of our heavy hitters, the average wait time is just right at 13 minutes. Powers branch, right at 13 minutes. Citizen Service branch, 13 minutes. And the Fort Carson branch, just right at 8 minutes. So they are doing an amazing job getting folks in and out of our lobbies and assisting them. So our peak wait times, of course, early mornings, lunch times, late afternoons. Time to complete most common transactions, which is different from wait times, is about 11 minutes when we're sitting here dealing with, all kinds of registrations, title transfers, mobile homes, tow, all kinds of different things, but I'm extremely happy where we are with wait times and the time to complete most common transactions. Our driver's license operating indicators, in the blue is El Paso County, the red is state of Colorado. Very glaring. And one of the reasons why folks come to the county, we don't set up any kind of appointment. People come on in. In addition, as we're open on Saturdays, where many folks from around other neighboring counties will visit. And if anybody's been there on a Saturday, it is not uncommon to see the line from the main door going about a quarter mile down and looping around Safeway. So that is each and every Saturday that is happening. As you sit there and you look at the wait times, I'm extremely happy with all 4 branches. The kiosk transactions, as you can see here for the year, they are up. But unfortunately, it's something I'm working with ITI to see if we can get those programmed for our active duty service military members. The average title backlog, I'm extremely happy with what we're doing in our operations section. We are averaging 1,677 average title backlogs. And let me explain what that is. You go and buy a car at the dealership and you're on temporary tags and you are waiting for the dealership or the clerk and recorder to sit there and finish that title where you can come in and get your license plate. So historically, we've been about 5,000. I revamped that whole entire process. Today, we're down to 1,677. On Saturdays, we do have filing parties where folks will come into the Powers branch and we'll sit there and work on title backlog. This last Saturday, they did that at the Powers branch and they knocked out over 300. So they're doing an amazing job there as well. Here are some things that I just will allow you guys to read, but here's some of the customer satisfaction, the positive comments. Very rarely will you get a positive comment from customers in regards to motor vehicle, driver's license, but each and every Saturday, I'm there with my staff, holding the door open, so I feel like I got promoted, greeting everybody, but these are some of the things that our citizens are sharing. Efficiency, friendly and helpful staff, clear communication. The common themes from our citizens are efficiency and organization, staff attitude, wait time concerns. So the negative feedback around that revolves around longer than expected wait times and the need for more staff during peak periods, and then also technical issues. One thing that many don't know is the county does not own any of the equipment associated with motor vehicle or driver's licenses in any of our branches. That is all owned by the Department of Revenue. And when drives goes down, Basically, we have zero say-so because that is at a state level. The other thing is, even on Saturdays when drives goes down, guess who's not working? The state. But we are. So we have no support from the state when we are open, but I have an amazing IS team they're there on Saturdays as well, and they are troubleshooting and getting things back up if we go down on the driver's license portion and also on the motor vehicle side. The recording department, the operating indicators, we all know is I'm the custodian of the public record, and you know, over the last several years, recording has been slowing down, but I'm seeing that starting to tick up. And I'm anticipating a 10% increase in recording because they're reducing the interest rate a little bit, and we're starting to see refinances where folks bought their home at 7% and now they're down to 6%. So we're starting to see that come on in. So here's a number of deeds, liens, marriage licenses, and other legal documents recorded. Percentage of documents recorded electronically versus in person is 15%. I think we can do a lot of work there, and I really want to start looking at in 2025 being able to do marriage licenses online where the folks no longer have to come into the office. Here's where you're looking at as far as the year, total documents, total copies, total marriages. Things are going up. Again, we do probably about 60, 70 marriages each and every Saturday where folks are coming from neighboring counties, things like that. They don't have to set an appointment. The average time to record and return documents is we have that completely revamped. That could be between 1 to 3 business days for electronic submission and 3 to 5 business days for business submissions, which is absolutely amazing because we want to make sure what's going into the record is correct and we're not clouding any titles, you know, just a number of different things. Clerk to the board. I'd like to brag about our clerk to the board here a little bit. So the agenda management as of September 1st, 2024, total number of agendas prepared and distributed on time, 626. Number of resolutions prepared by our clerk to the board, 331. Number of contracts, 106. Liquor licenses, 119. Board of Equalization appeals, 620. And we all know next year is a reappraisal year. And things are going to shift because historically is during appeals, that was done through the months of May and June. This next year is going to be right in the middle of fall and also through our coordinated election. So things are going to be a tad bit busy in the clerk and recorder's office where you're going to have County Board of Equalization, appeals, and also a coordinated election. Total number of abatements is 115, so our clerk to the board stays busy, and I don't think I'm sharing any new news with you commissioners as how busy she is. Here's her operating indicators. In July was way up because she was basically running the County Board of Equalization, and July was the property appeals. So talking about budgetary challenges and constraints. So increased election costs, security and integrity investments, rising personnel costs, mailing and printing expenses, technology upgrades and maintenance, software licenses and upkeep, systems modernization, staffing and retention issues, burnout and turnover, training costs, facility costs. We all know I came before you because the lease at the Union Town Center went up, and we went ahead and handled that in 2024. So we also have office improvements, compliance and legal requirements, accessibility compliance, mandated services. So not only is my office mandated by statute, it's also mandated by Secretary of State rules when it comes down from for election purposes. However, I see a lot of opportunities. Technology integration, online services expansion, which is something I'm definitely going to be concentrating on in the recording department and also in motor vehicles, and also automation. This year I took advantage of many grant funding through the HAVA grant and state support. A lot of the upgrades that we did this year were provided by grants. So for election security and sustainability initiatives, staff training and development, reaching out, for example, with our local title companies for our recording department and joining in on their training. Community engagement and partnership, increased voter education and engagement. We've done an amazing job on that. Data-driven decision-making, analyzing customer feedback, and monitoring transaction volumes throughout each and every week and each and every month. Here are some of the office wins. Successful pre- and post-election audits, which is significant, and enhanced voter access by opening 38 VSPCs and also installing 3 additional ballot boxes. We have reduced wait times in all of our offices, but most importantly in driver's license and motor vehicle. Recognition for operational excellence, positive feedback from our citizens, and the highest customer satisfaction in our DMV services. Staff morale and development, employee recognition and retention, and career advancement opportunities. So what I would like to talk to you about first and foremost is our first critical need is increased postage cost. And I would like to thank Nikki and her team. Is what we're looking at is an additional $182,000 added to our mail line. We did reduce this by 45% because the new elections reimbursement law that changed this year is the Secretary of State has to reimburse 45% of the total election cost. So with Nikki and her team, we sat down and we looked at that and we removed that out of there. So looking at the increased postage cost, of course, we're seeing rising volume of mailings, ensuring election integrity and compliance, because if somebody doesn't sign their ballot or their ballot needs to be cured, that mail has to be dated that day that ballot was processed to get that out to the voter. Expansions of services and also cost increases. The other thing I also want to look at is $125,000 critical need for online ballot images and ADA accessibility. So historically, the Clerk and Recorder's Office worked with one of our contractors to put ballot images out onto the website for anybody who wanted to sit there and audit this, information and things like that. This was basically done as a favor. There was no contract in place. And when the House bill in regards to the ADA accessibility, I reached out to the current vendor and they're like, we are going down a path that has nothing to do with our business process. We do not want to do this. That put the Clerk and Recorder's Office in a really bad situation. And what it is we had to take down those ballot images because they don't meet the ADA accessibility and we are breaking the law and potentially get the county fined. This is not the election to do that. And what we're looking at is we found a company, their name is Severa. They've already meet the ADA requirements. They're able to put the online images out there in a short time frame. The other thing is they can also do redaction, which took my staff over 3 months to do. We are right now working on the June 25th state primary ballots, where they have already redacted those. We're getting ready to put them out there. But this tool is much better than what our citizens are accustomed to. What our citizens will be able to do is they can actually filter and just say, you know what, I want to review all ballots for who's running in Commissioner District 4. With that query, it will pull up each one of those. In addition to that, something that we are not able to do now is each vote cast record is going to be associated with the ballot. So they can match one for one. So what this does, enhances accuracy in the ballot verification, increased efficiency in election auditing, improved transparency and public confidence, which is something that we all, you as our, the commissioners and also myself have been working on over the last 22 months, basically making our election system almost 100% transparent. And some of the changes that we have made, 2 of which we have legislators getting ready to run legislation on, saying that each and every county in the state of Colorado needs to do what El Paso County is doing. It complies with election security standards and also scalability for future elections. So just looking at that, the critical needs, of course, the increased postage costs. Some of the things that we're sitting there looking at is we send out those vehicle registration renewal cards. I made changes to that, which reduced the total mail cost. But one of the things, commissioners, many don't know, is that is not a statutory requirement. That is a courtesy of El Paso County sending those out. We are not required by law. However, there is no doubt in my mind we will see, if we decide not to sit there and send those registration cards out, we will see a lot of delinquent registrations because we've been doing it for so long, and a lot of upset customers because they're so accustomed to getting that reminder of you need to renew your registration. So the increased postage costs, $182,000, and also the online ballot images, the ADA accessibility for $125,000. So with that being said, are there any questions?
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we've been posting the ballots online the last several years. Are you able to tell through our system how many residents have actually pulled the information, or is that something that our system can't tell?
So, Commissioner, that is a great question. I could tell you how many individuals have signed up to be able to do that. However, our current vendor is not able to sit there and identify how many times they've gone in there, pulled information. It's just a very archaic system where moving forward is we're able to sit there and track every time someone logs in or they share it, just a number of things. But right now we're not able to pull that, just how many logins have been generated.
And I agree with you in terms of, you talked about this election. Yes, I think there's going to be a lot of scrutiny from all sides on this one. So this one makes sense. I would just say I would come off the board at the end of the year. But for the following year, tracking the data, if it's two people or maybe the year after because of the election, I expect people to look at it and utilize it this year. Yep. But the year after, it might be something that's a lot of money. I think it's right to do it this next year. But if we can track the data to see if it's worth doing it, maybe just during the presidential cycles, because that is a lot of money.
Well, Commissioner, if you're starting to think like me, you might want to send me your counseling bill. So one of the things is definitely talking to Nikki and talking to Brett about this is just the possibility of every 4 years during a presidential election of putting this information out there. I completely agree. It's a significant amount of money. But right now, taking a look is with the new vendor, I will be able to let you know how many people are in there, what they're looking at, how many queries they are doing. And based on that, we can make an informed decision to include, do we just do it every presidential election for our citizens?
Okay, any additional questions from commissioners? Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Appreciate that. So at this point, I'm going to call for any public comment on this presentation. You're here to speak on this presentation. You may come forward now. I don't see anyone in the room, and we do not have anyone online. So at this time, we are very close to our planned break. So I think that we will go ahead. We'll take that just a few minutes early, and we will reconvene at 11:15. This meeting is in recess.